And we are live for game number 2 here at the CSI Baseball Complex between the Tigers of Holy Family University and the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Holy Family took game number 1 of this doubleheader by the final of 3-2 in extra innings. They will look to sweep the doubleheader here today. The Dolphins looking to split these 2 games here. Gerard Santos gets the mound for CSI. Brian Comer, the first batter he will face. The count now goes to 1-2. Our Hometown Heroes Day festivities, raffles have been just announced. All the tables are now clear, so if you missed out a chance to get some of your raffles, unfortunately, you'll have to wait till next year to partake in any raffle festivities here at CSI. But back to the matter at hand here, the count now 2-2 for Comer. Now a miss inside for ball 3. So Comer early in the count has worked the count full at 3-2. Gerard Santos, as I mentioned, gets the mound for CSI here today. He faced his Holy Family team earlier on the season and got his first win of the year. That one's fouled behind the plate. And go foul, keeps the count full. So once again, we'll do it here on 3-2. Comer swung on and missed, but the ball was dropped by Campese, so the count will continue at 3-2. Maybe Comer got a piece of that one. So we'll again do it here. Very long at bat to start this game. And that one misses for ball 4. So Comer is on with a leadoff walk. Gino Saracchia, the hero of game number 1. That bats with an early base runner here. Saracchia getting an RBI double down the left field line at the top of the 8th inning. Shows bunt. And it's in there for a strike 0-1. Santos in that start the first time the two teams met went 6 innings. And he gets the pickoff attempt at first base. Nice throw at first from Santos right there to retire Comer right there on the pickoff. And just like that now, there's one away in the inning. So the Dolphins in the last game get picked off at first. Santos gets him right there on the pickoff. So now one away in the inning. The count is 1-1. That one hit down the left field line. That is a foul ball. Saracchia looking for another extra base hit here today. It just missed it by a few inches. This count now goes to 1-2. The 1-2. Misses high and outside for ball 2. Count now evens at 2-2. Two for Santos. That one hit down the left field line. Could be trouble for Burkhead, and that one will go foul. Count still 2-2 for Saracchia. And that one's in there for strike 3. Saracchia down on strikes looking for the second out of the inning.
Now batting the right fielder number 28, Zach Morales.
There we go, Zach Morales now with 2 away in the inning. So 2 very lengthy at-bats for Santos to start off this inning. This time was called at the plate. Zach Morales is the batter here for the Tigers. The first pitch he will see is swing and a miss, foul tipped into the glove for strike 1. Count goes to 0-1. Santos, as I mentioned, the first time these two teams met, went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, one of those earned. That came in the first inning. So he gave up a 2-run homer to John Martinez. Dolphins would score 11 straight runs after that and would win the game 11-4. As for the first time in this game, I'll be joined by my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman.
All right, Nick, thank you for covering for me, as that's a big swing and a miss by Morales for strike 2. Obviously, I have responsibilities beyond the broadcast today. We had our pregame ceremony ahead of Game 1. I was on public address. We then had the announcement of our raffle winners. As you mentioned, the tickets were pulled in between games, so I had to attend to some audio issues down around the field, make sure all of our equipment made its way back up here, and Gerard Santos and the Dolphins will make their way back to the dugout as Morales goes down swinging and the side is retired. Quick first inning for Gerard Santos. Dolphins come to bat with no score. Michael Palermo will lead things off for the Dolphins here in the home half of the first inning as he dribbled one toward the middle. It was kept on the infield, and Palermo was thrown out over at first.
Good scoop from first base by Dalton Turner as Palermo almost got onto first with an infield single. And now bring up Brian Burkhead.
Well, Turner's had a nice day over at first base. Made that play in foul territory during Game 1 to bring an at-bat to an abrupt end late in that game. Had that scoop there as well. Brian Burkhead, the batter here. Burkhead was hitless and drew a walk in Game 1. And that's hit in the air on the infield. And making the catch over at short was Martinez for the second out.
Tigers getting quick work here in the first inning. 2 quick outs. Retiring Palermo and Burkhead. As Christian Culver now is 1 out away from a 1-2-3 first.
That pitch is taken for a called strike by A.J. Vigliotti. Remember what I said about technology not cooperating, Nick?
I'm going to assume that the question is which one isn't cooperating.
So I uploaded our final box score for Game 1 to the back end of our website, and I just went to refer to it. I pulled Burkhead's stats on memory since he came up toward the end of the game, but I just went to look at the box score, and the box score is not there on our schedule page.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. Welcome to the use of an old 32-bit Dell laptop.
Yeah.
It's all right. We'll upload again. 0-2 the count on A.J. Vigliotti. And he takes a called strike 3. So the Dolphins will go down 1-2-3 in the first. No score through 1 from the CSI Baseball Complex. The Aesthetics Med Spa and Wellness Center. Our approach to beauty and wellness begins with a holistic plan tailored to the unique needs of our patients. When we consult with patients, we let them tell us what their problem is. We don't tell them what the issue is. We find out what they're looking for, and we discuss, and then we give them options. If you're looking to achieve radiant skin, you've come to the right place. We offer hydrofacials, microneedling, Opus Plasma, peels, facial and laser treatments, laser hair removal, body sculpting, fat freezing, hormone replacement therapy, Botox, IV drip therapy, and more. We are open Monday through Saturday and are located at 720 Forest Avenue, Staten Island, New York, 10310. We hope to see you soon. Visit our website at www.chiaesthetics.com for more information. And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. There's no score between Holy Family and the College of Staten Island. Be nice if I put in the final out of the previous inning in our stats, Nick. Very easy to forget.
Like you said, it's tough to do both at the same time. You know, when you call in the game, you have to remember you're also doing the stats laptop.
Dylan Mercedes leading things off for the Tigers here in the second. Flies out to left for out number 1.
Now batting the catcher number 13, Emilio Bucci.
Easy to remember that one. Emilio Bucci will be the batter. We do have our Game 1 box, so I can tell you that Bucci was 0 for 3. That's popped up. Foul territory on the infield. And the catch is made in foul ground by Vincent Weigel for out number 2.
And lost his hat on the process as well.
Nice touch on these Heroes Day jerseys is that the players get their names on the back, which means they get to keep these.
Right.
So that's good to see. A uniform the team wears just once per season.
If you saw earlier, I don't know if you caught it, John Casiglione was here, and he had his jersey on.
Yep. I saw John Esposito. I saw Kevin Ryan. And I'm sure there were many more former Dolphins who were here at the baseball complex. And Nick, in a year or two, closer to 2, there will be players who come back and attend games as graduates now that will have played when I got started 10 years ago. That's when you really start to feel old. I am now 13 years older than our incoming freshman, 31. So that's fouled away. Dalton Turner at the plate here.
Not too far behind you anyway.
Turner was 0 for 3 in game 1. I'm young at heart.
Right.
We'll put it that way. Comes the 1 and 2. Though I will admit, and those who know me know this, I am far, far different in person than I am on headset. Different personalities.
Right.
That's why we had to come up with a name for the on-air personality. What we came up with a couple of years back was Foreman Osborne, as that's fouled back
Former Osborne's going to have to check the weather this week for Thursday. See if we're going to be able to play softball or not.
He is something of a meteorologist.
I've heard that.
That's the rumor. May or may not be true. As that's chopped toward third, the Dolphins will hope it rolls foul, and it does. Bit of a battle brewing here between Turner and Gerard Santos, and we'll get you Gerard's numbers as well.
Mentioned Santos had a couple of lengthy at-bats in the first inning. So it's been a tough outing so far for Santos in terms of trying to get quick outs. The Tigers have made him work so far here the first two innings.
Well, Ryan Kehoe entered the season as CSI's number 1. However, Gerard Santos statistically has been their best pitcher. Team leader in wins, team leader in ERA among qualifiers, though. The qualifying standard is 1 inning pitched per game, and thus far only 2 Dolphins have met that requirement, Santos and Kehoe. And Santos has another strikeout, this time on a breaking ball. It catches the outside corner, and Turner goes down looking for the third out. We head to the home second. No score between the Dolphins and Tigers.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Chris Palomini will lead things off for the Dolphins here in the second inning. Palomini in Game 2, batting out of the cleanup spot as we've seen many times this year. And Nick, with his start in today's game, or in this game, I should say, he has now started every game for the Dolphins this year along with A.J. Vigliotti.
Durability at its finest this season for Palomini and as well as Vigliotti.
Palomini was 2 for 4 in Game 1.
He's quickly up in the count 3-0, and as we mentioned in Game 1, he's been lightning fast this season on the base path with the stolen base.
Well, they often talk about 30-30 seasons. Palomini is getting close, at least in terms of the stolen base
Right.
30. He will have 30 RBIs. 30 home runs would be very impressive. Has that sliced foul, but 30 RBIs, not a bad consolation prize.
You'll take that.
You'll take it. On the season, Chris now hitting .351. That includes Game 1. 33 runs batted in, 28 stolen bases. And with a leadoff walk here, you have to think that there's a pretty good chance he's going.
Now, Joe, what was the number of RBIs he had?
33.
Look who's up to the plate.
Thomas Martin, the batter. Martin still sitting at 30 hits. Would need 3 to reach 33. And wouldn't it be fitting, Nick, reaching 33 hits on
His
the year
third
with a
hit.
3-hit performance?
That would be, you can't write a better script in my opinion.
If he somehow managed to do it with the Dolphins only having 3 hits.
And a 7-inning game too, which would be very, very tough to do it in.
Yeah, that's true. Count even at 1-1 on Martin. They are keeping a very close eye on Palomini at first, and they are holding him on. And Martin takes high. Two and one the count. Pitch on its way. That's in for a called strike.
Mark thought that was a little bit high, but count now evens at 2.
Comes the 2-2. And the breaking ball misses upstairs.
And definitely you could see Palomini definitely is going to go on this next pitch.
The starter for Holy Family is Christian Culver. We'll get you his numbers in just a moment following this at bat. And they check on Palomini. So very quickly, I'll let you know. Culver comes in, having appeared in 10 games and 5 starts. He's pitched to a 5-2 record with a 4.26 ERA and a whip of 1.29. In 44 1/3, he's allowed 46 hits and 31 runs, 21 of those earned. He's walked 11 and has now struck out 28.
A huge out number 1 recorded again. Martin right there on that swing and miss. And I thought for maybe a second Palomini would run on that pitch, but he held that first. So now 1 away in the inning brings up Anthony Cetera.
Well, Culver had a strikeout in the first, Nick, so that is 29 on the season. Close. Anthony Cetera, the batter. And Cetera fouls one back.
Cetera had himself a nice game number 1 between these two teams. Drove in a run. Give the Dolphins an early 1-0 lead.
Cetera 2 for 3 with that RBI in game 1. Comes the 0-1. And that misses for ball 1. Palomini, the runner on first with 1 out. The Tigers continue to hold him on. Cetera did drive one through the right side in game 1, so there's a big hole over there once again. Count now 2-1 on the Dolphins shortstop. That's fouled off again. Two balls and 2 strikes, the count on Cetera. And that's lined toward the middle, played on a hop, flipped to second for 1, and there will be no chance to double up Cetera. And we've seen that a couple of times today, Nick, where the ball seemed off the bat to be hit pretty hard toward the middle, and then it just dies on the infield and is played on a hop.
Yeah, I thought that for sure was going to be a base hit for Cetera. But a great job up the middle of the infield for the Tigers to get that second out. So Cetera stranded at first base, and that brings up Vincent Weigel.
Officially 4-6 on the putout over at second base. And now Vincent Weigel, who offers at the first pitch, lofts one out to shallow center. That's down for a hit. With 2 outs, Cetera able to go first to third easily. And the Dolphins now have runners on the corners with 2 away.
They get their first hit of the game right there. So a chance for Nick Campese in his foul game of the season, as well as his Dolphin career, try to bring home the first run.
So Campese will come to the plate here with runners on the corners and 2 outs. And Campese this year has swung the bat pretty well. Easily the best batting average of his career this season. Comes in hitting at .308. Campese started quite a bit as a sophomore. And then A.J. Vigliotti burst onto the scene last year as Campese swings and misses for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That's fouled away.
Look at the last previous base hit from the Dolphins. Vincent Weigel with that bloop single into center field. Give the Dolphins first and third here with a 2-strike count for Campese.
0-2 on its way, and that's lined toward left center field. That's down for a base hit. Cetera comes in to score, Heading for third is Weigel. Heading for second, Campese. And he is in standing with an RBI base hit. Now, Nick, you have to capture that replay for me. We may have had an error in the outfield.
There was a little bit of a bomb ball in left field, so that probably allowed Campese to go into second.
All right, so that's going to be an RBI single for Nick Campese and an error out in left field. Just confirm for me, Nick, it was the left fielder.
Yes.
All right. Weigel goes first to third. I think he goes to third anyway.
He does. Yeah, he was
Soterra
running
scores.
regardless. Campese, for sure, was stopping at first base as Waterman grounds out. Oh,
Or
he
does
does not,
he?
John. He does not. The ball was not scooped by Turner.
Low throw from short.
Not from third.
From third.
That's 2 errors now in the inning for the Tigers.
Fielder number 3, Michael Palermo.
And there's no chance that that's a hit, right, Nick?
That last one?
I wasn't looking up.
No, I was not. Yeah, that's an error.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't looking. Still scoring the previous play. They do you no favors up here when you're doing play-by-play
No.
and stats. Back to the top of the order now. Michael Palermo on the half swing, fouls it away.
Yeah, there was no doubt about it.
Okay.
A good throw gets the out at first, but a low throw from third extends the inning for CSI.
So both base runners moved up a base, and that obviously brings Weigel in to score. Every run from this point forward now will be unearned as the count evens up at 1-1 on Michael Palermo. And Palermo chops one softly toward third. Won't be an easy play, and the throw is high. That's an infield single for Michael Palermo. Campese comes in to score, and it's now 3-0 Dolphins.
That were the Dolphins in this inning, Joe. A lot of 2-out base hits, or at least have extended the inning. We're getting the ball in play with 2 outs. Palermo gets an infield single right there to extend the Dolphin lead now. They lead at 3-0 here early in this game.
Tough luck out on the mound for Christian Culver. Should have been out of this inning now, allowing just the 1 run. Instead, he now trails by 3 as Brian Burkhead looks at a strike.
I got to say, it might be the first time all season, maybe at least for me, that the Dolphins have back-to-back lefties lead off for their lineup.
Palermo hit ninth quite a bit this year.
Right.
As that's sliced out toward left. And Burkhead is retired for the final out here in the second. But not before the Dolphins score 3 times, 2 of those unearned as the result of a big error by Holy Family. They commit 2 errors in the inning, and they now trail CSI 3-0.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Third inning from the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins now lead it by 3. As that pitch is in for a called strike 2 to Alex Camillo, who came on as a pinch hitter in Game 1, stayed in the game to play left field. And the 0-2 is lined right back through the middle for a base hit. The first hit of the game for Holy Family.
I wonder if that maybe tipped off the glove of Santos regardless going into center. That was a scorcher up the middle. An early base runner for the Tigers.
That ball was hit very hard. That's easily the best contact that the Tigers have had against Santos in these first 3 innings. That will bring up Garrison Pagolman. He's ahead 1-0.
I think it did off the glove.
He may have gotten a piece of it.
It did.
And that just goes to show you how hard it was hit, because that ball didn't slow down much as the Dolphins have a chance for 2. Flip for 1, turn to first, not in time. Waterman and Cetera forming the double play combination in the middle of the infield this game, but this time the Dolphins have to settle for the lead runner.
Dolphins almost get another 4-6-3 double play. Turned 2 of those in game number 1. Almost got another one right there.
And that was a great job by Waterman to handle what was a very tough hop over at second base. That ball skipped on him at the last moment, and he was able to stay with it and get the lead runner at second. Cetera made it close at first, but Pagolman over there in time to beat it. And now John Martinez will be the batter. Martinez homered in Game 1. Did so as the 9th place hitter in that game as well, batting 9th again here in Game 2.
Martinez has been a menace for the Dolphins this season with 2-run homer in Game 1 in here, and he hit a home run off of Gerard Santos the first time these two teams met.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 1.
He would certainly like to make a home run bid here again with 1 out in the inning. And Pagolman at first base. As I'll check the runner, and he's back in safely. Count's still 2-1.
Look, there's one thing I won't miss about calling games here on campus when the season's over, Nick. It's the pollen in the air.
As to say.
It is everywhere today. Bleachers are covered.
Yep.
Comes the 2-1. And that's hit well to deep left, but well foul. Count now even at 2. Long look in from Santos ahead of this 2-2 pitch. And he delivers high. Behind Martinez, it's back to the top of the order. So you'd love to get Martinez if you're Santos. He's allowed just the 1 hit through the first pass in the order as that pickoff attempt went high. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on its way. And that gets by to the backstop. Campese checks over his shoulder, but Pagolman had no thoughts of trying to go first to third. It's a walk issued to Martinez, and the Tigers now have 2 on with 1 out, and the tying run coming to the plate.
That'll be Brian Comer come out to the plate. Comer reached his first time on a walk, and then would get picked off at first base.
Runners on first and second now with 1 out. At the plate thus far, Comer without an official at bat. He walked to start the game, looks to bunt here, and bunts it foul. Count 0-1 on the Tigers center fielder. Very interesting to see him bunt in a spot like this, trailing by 3. Have to be confident you're going to beat that out as he squares up again and takes ball 1. And Nick, you have to believe that they're not looking to sacrifice here. This has to be an attempt to either throw Santos off his game or bunt for a hit.
Right. I think, especially down the third base line, with Weigel still playing towards the bag, that's where they're trying to aim it for.
He's showing bunt all the way, and that's going to draw Weigel in. He pulls it back,
And that's
why. That's why they were doing it. That's a good play there. As they get the runner over to third, Weigel was drawn in by Comer showing bunt, and that allowed Pergolman to steal third.
Good heads-up base running by the Tigers right there. We're going to look at the replay in just a moment, but now it makes it first and third with just one away.
Good arm behind the plate, Nick Campese for the Dolphins. I was going through the senior day speeches during the 2 seasons where he's gotten the most time behind the plate. Throughout over 25% of base stealers in both of those seasons. That's a good number. And once you're pushing that 30 mark, you're getting to some very good company.
Dolphins certainly going to miss his presence behind the plate.
Comes to 3-1, and that's high for ball 4. So the bases are now loaded as Comer draws the walk. And that will bring up Gino Serecchia, Game 1's hero, as he doubled in the winning run.
And he'll come up now with the bases loaded. Still one away in the inning, but a chance for the Dolphins here. Double play that can get them out of this jam. Keep it a 3-run game.
Pitch on its way. That's fouled off. Serecchia 0 for 1 here in Game 2. I mentioned he had the go-ahead double in Game 1. That was his lone hit in 3 at-bats, 1 for 3 with the RBI and 2 strikeouts. Comes the 0-1. And that's on the outside corner for a called strike 2.
Serecchia thought that was on the outside, but as we saw in Game 1, Joe, a lot of those outside pitches were called for a strike, so different umpire, but still the same result so far.
0-2 the count on Serecchia. Big pitch coming up here for Santos. And that's off the outside corner.
Campese tried his best to frame it.
Can't blame the Dolphins for going right back to that outside corner. That call has been there for both teams. It's been consistent. And that's what you have to appreciate in terms of the umpiring, whether or not you like it if you're these two teams. It's been consistent as the 1-2 was laid off.
Serecchia almost went around, but was able to hold on to the bat. Now evens the count at 2.
Those are such tough calls to make when you have a home plate umpire and an infield umpire and nobody down the lines. Count now even at 2.
Man, it looks like he got dirt now in his eye.
And you can see it, the dirt blowing from right to left. That matches the direction that the flag is blowing out in left field. Two balls and 2 strikes the count on the Tigers' second baseman, Serecchia. Pitch on its way. And that is swung on and missed for strike 3. Big strikeout for Gerard Santos with the bases loaded, and there are now 2 away.
Well, the Dolphins have seen this scenario a lot so far, and they saw it obviously earlier in the year with Holy Family. This bases loaded 1-out spot where they've been able to work out of it unscathed. 1 out away from doing it once again. Huge punch out from Santos right there.
And if you're able to avoid it, you'd always like to avoid the 3-2 count in that spot. Santos did just that with a big 2-2 pitch as Zach Morales looks at strike 1. Oh, 0-1 the count. And that's popped up on the infield in fair territory. And A.J. Vigliotti makes the catch to retire the side. So Gerard Santos works through a bases-loaded jam. The Tigers had him loaded with just 1 out and failed to score. CSI still leads it 3-0.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex where the Dolphins lead Holy Family University 3-0. Dolphins dropped game one by a final score of 3-2. They have an early 3-run lead here in game number 2. That being said, Nick, it gets late rather quickly in these 7-inning games.
Yeah, it does. And the Dolphins obviously jumped out to that early 3 spot in that previous inning that they had. They got 3 runs on those hits, as well as accounting for the 2 errors that happened in the inning for the Tigers. And Gerard Santos did a great job in that previous half inning, getting out of that bases loaded spot with just 1 out in the inning.
Count on A.J. Vigliotti now 2-1. Vigliotti 0 for 1 in this game. And he hits one on the ground to short. Handled cleanly, and the throw to first is in time for out number 1.
Now batting the center fielder, number 14, Chris Palomini.
And that will bring up Chris Palomini. Palomini without an official at-bat in this game. He drew a walk his first time up and gets ahead here 1-0. As we mentioned before, Palomini would need 2 stolen bases for 30. And he takes a strike. I was a bit surprised to see him not running when he was on base the first time. That being said, the Tigers were paying very close attention to him over at first as that's it well out to center, but Palomini just got under it. And the catch is made in center field by Comer for out number 2.
Number 33, Thomas Marte.
That will bring up Mara now with 2 away in the inning. It's Culver looking for a bounce-back inning after that second inning, and a lot of the Dolphins' damage in that inning came with 2 outs as well.
Thomas Martin, the batter, and he takes a strike. Martin 0 for 1 with a strikeout here in game 2. And he hits one
Joe,
deep to
gone.
left. Forget it! That is a mammoth home run. It nearly reached the soccer field, Nick. Thomas Martin has made this a 4-run game with a home run well beyond the left field wall.
You knew right off the bat that was gone. The
Wow.
question is, Joe, is that further than the one he hit over the batter's eye in center?
It just might be, Nick.
Hey.
That is the longest home run to left field that I have ever seen hit here at the baseball complex.
You have to take a heads up if you're on that soccer field down the left field line. There is some games going on right now at that soccer field. So if they saw a baseball coming towards them, Godspeed. Thankfully, it doesn't look like anyone got hit by the ball, but you're going to have to go retrieve that one, as that might be Martin's final base hit here at the baseball complex.
Anthony Cetera, the batter, and he fouls that one away.
Nice catch down the first base
So,
line.
to paint a picture for those who aren't familiar, beyond the left field wall, there is our newly renovated track, and then there is a brand new turf field in the center of that track. So there's the outfield wall, then there's an area, I would say probably about 20 feet or so of grass, and then you have the track. I don't know how wide a lane on the track is as Cetera goes down swinging, but let's say the track is about 10 feet, 15 feet wide max. So that ball cleared the left field wall by at least, I'd say 50 feet. At least. So that's a long home run.
That
to
might
left
be
field.
generous.
So either way, it's a long home run by Martin. The Dolphins lead it 4-0, and we head to the fourth inning here at the CSI Baseball Complex.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex with one more look at that mammoth home run by Thomas Martin.
And Joe, just for your own notion, this is the third time I've played number 33's home run here today.
And during the break, we were trying to figure out just how far that home run may have been. So let's assume that the left field wall is 330. If the left field wall is 330 and we have 30 feet of grass between the wall and the track, that's 360. Let's say the track is 20 feet wide to give the benefit of the doubt. That would mean that home run at the very least traveled 380 feet. The very least, because it landed right on the edge of the track in front of the soccer field. As that ball's hit well out toward left center, and on the run, Palomini makes the catch, retiring Dylan Mercedes to open up the fourth inning.
Mercedes, we saw in Game 1, had that triple into center field. Palomini had to give a long run on that one and just missed it over his head. This time around, Palomini gets the better of him as he tracks that ball down to left center field for the first out of the inning.
So for Thomas Martin, that home run during the previous inning is number 4 for him on the season. He had a multi-home run game this year as well. And the 0-1 pitch to Emilio Bucci is fouled away. He's now behind 0-2. Comes the 0-2. And that's perhaps off the glove of Santos again, but it squeaks through the middle for a base hit. And you might see it on replay, Nick. Perhaps we could even use the closer shot. I think that grazed his glove again.
I think it did too. Let's take a look. It's tough to tell. It looked like it did, but it took a bounce off the mound, which is why I'm not sure if it did.
And I think if you're Santos, the one frustrating thing about your outing so far, and it's been a good outing. He hasn't allowed a run, just 2 hits, escaped the bases loaded jam. But a couple of those hard hit balls toward the middle, the 2 base hits, have both come with 2 strikes,
right.
And they both hit off his glove, potentially the second.
Right.
I think it did graze his glove, but I believe both of those hits came in 0-2 counts.
Yeah, I think so too.
And you hate to give up solid contact like that on an 0-2 pitch. So with 1 out in the inning, Bucci is on first base. Dalton Turner is the batter. And they'll check on the runner. Turner is 0 for 1 at the plate. Now, on the scoreboard in left, they have an error on the Dolphins. Did I miss an error?
Did they give an error on that play?
Which play?
They're coming in now. They radioed it up, it looks like.
On what play?
That previous play. They gave Waterman an error. Well, I have the wide shot. We can look at that. They gave Waterman an error on the play.
Really?
But it wasn't that we originally had it. Scapizzi almost
got him. He sure did.
Nice throw to first base. So they gave Waterman an error on the play. I'll have to see if I
I'll
can
tell
look
you,
at it.
they being the Dolphins' dugout.
Let's see. I see why. Because Waterman went to field the ball, had his glove down, and it went under his glove.
Did it?
It did. But the question is, though, let's say if it grazed off of Santos' glove.
It did hit off Santos'
So
glove.
does that, because of that happening, does that redirect it to make the play uneven?
I'll tell you, if the ball hit Santos' glove, there is no way you can give an error on that, even if he was there, because it takes away the routine element. It's no longer routine if the ball hits the pitcher's glove. And I'm fairly certain it did.
I think it's just because of Waterman putting his glove down and it looked like he was under the ball. That's the only reason I can assume that that's why they gave it that, but
I'll tell you, Nick, the run doesn't score. And it shouldn't matter, but I'm being fully transparent here as the commentator and the statistician. The run doesn't score. We're not taking a base hit away for Bucci on that one.
I'm just shocked they wanted to give their own player an
I will give it a second look. Well, it's for the pitcher.
Right, I know.
And I would give it a second look if it ends up mattering in terms of earned, unearned runs. But I don't see any way of giving that a hit.
Yeah.
Or an error, excuse me.
The question is, who radioed it up?
Well, the dugout. It'd be the team
Obviously.
manager. It'd be the team manager on
Okay.
the walkie. Because he's in the dugout scoring the game for the team. But boy, I mean, there's hometown scoring. There's pushing it. In my opinion, that's pushing it. If the ball did not hit Santos' glove, I could see it. Because they had the out.
Maybe they didn't see it hit off his glove. Maybe that's the reason why they're saying
I
that.
thought for sure it hit off of it. We can check the replay and give it a closer look if it ends up mattering. Because that ball was smoked, Nick.
We have both views of the play for Santos, and then we have both views as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, it won't matter for the Waterman play. We'll have the long shot view of that play.
You might be able to see him come in behind Santos.
Right.
I think it only matters if the ball hits Santos' glove. If the ball didn't hit his glove, then you can make the case it's a routine play. As Santos has now fallen behind 3-0 on Alex Camillo.
In danger of loading the bases and bringing the tying run to the plate as well.
Well, we're heading toward a situation where that ruling is going to matter, Nick.
Santos looking to help you, Joe, in this situation. Maybe get a double play ball.
I hate to go back and change it from what my instinct was. Slow it down to quarter speed, since I see you looking at it now.
I'm trying to see if I can get it on the closer view with Waterman's glove. But I don't know.
I'm only concerned if the ball hit Santos' glove. If the
Okay.
ball did not hit his glove, then you could make the case it was a routine play. He botched it, didn't get in front of the ball. That's fine. And we can change it. But if the ball hits Gerard's glove, there is no way you can call this an error. Also, something else to keep in mind, Nick. If that ball doesn't hit his glove, I think it's going into center field. I don't think Waterman ever gets there.
It's really tough to tell. I can't really get a good gauge of it if it hit his glove or not.
Do me a favor, Nick. Play it one more time on the wide shot in regular speed, because right now they're having a conversation at the mound. So you're going to play it wide shot, full speed. Is there any chance this ball gets to Waterman if Santos doesn't touch it? Because I'm pretty sure he touched it.
So
I don't think there's a chance, Nick. Go on the
Yeah.
close shot again. Close shot, full speed. After this next pitch.
okay.
After this next pitch.
It's not a CSI baseball game or softball game without a hit error.
It certainly is not, and we have a good one here on the last day of the regular season. As that nearly hit the batter, Garrison Pergolman.
Let's see.
He's now ahead 1-0. I think it definitely hits his glove, Nick.
I think so too.
The question is, if it didn't, is the ball going to center field? I think it is.
I think it is too.
I think it is, so there's no way you can give it an error.
That's why it's tough. Because if it hit his glove, it was like a very smidge of it. It was not much.
think once that ball hits his glove, the play is no longer routine. And I think if the ball didn't hit his glove, it was going into center field anyway. Santos now behind 2-0 here as that check swing sends a dribbler down the line, foul. That's a big pitch there. Pergolman got tied up. May have had ball 3.
Yeah. And obviously no bases open here in this spot as well with bases being loaded. So Santos cannot afford a walk here.
Comes the 2-1. And that's in for a called strike 2.
Looks like the Dolphins have Michael First up in their bullpen. Saw him get the start on Tuesday against Delphi.
Pitched well in that game.
He did.
It's a very well pitched game overall for the Dolphins. Comes the 2-2. That's fouled away.
That game first went 5 shutout innings, and the Dolphins' only run that they allowed was off of an error. So a very well pitched game from CSI on Tuesday.
And Nick, if Pergolman keeps this inning going, look who's on deck.
John Martinez.
The Dolphin killer.
Yeah. Peter did not like that conversation, that word you just said, Joe.
PETA?
Yeah.
That's taken for ball 3. So the count runs full.
You can't be saying that. At least around them.
Was he walking around with his harpoon?
I mean, the way he's hitting the ball today, maybe.
He's walking around with a baseball bat, Nick. It's not going to help you much against those Dolphins. Who doesn't like Dolphins? As that is in for a called strike 3. Pergolman thought he had ball 4 instead. He is sent back to the dugout looking. Huge strikeout for Gerard Santos.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Pergolman didn't like that strike 3 call. As you mentioned, he was on his way to first base thinking he had the first run of the game for the Tigers, but huge punch out for Santos. He's now 1 out away from escaping this bases loaded jam.
Can't take that pitch on the outside corner today, Nick.
Yeah.
Pitchers are getting that call. And Santos nearly hits Martinez. So we've seen some pitches that have been awfully close. Martinez without an official at bat.
A lot of things that they said they've been too close for comfort.
Comes the 1-0. That's in for a strike. Well, Santos has now loaded the bases for the second straight inning, looking to escape once again. Comes the 1-1. And I completely lost that baseball,
I did too.
Nick.
It looked like they'd be rocketed down the left field line, but
That ball was hit hard.
yeah.
It almost appeared to me as if the ball disappeared into his bat. Santos looking for another Houdini act on the mound,
Nice.
trying to escape this jam.
Nice.
I love the segue. I really do. Looking to make some magic happen. And he does. It's a
Easy-
called strike 3.
Easy over there. Easy with the segues.
Santos with back-to-back strikeouts strands the bases loaded for the second consecutive inning, and the Dolphins maintain a 4-run lead. The Tigers will maintain their hit total. We are keeping it at 2 officially here on
Okay.
the broadcast, and we head to the home 4th inning with the Dolphins in front 4-0.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Vincent Weigel opens up the fourth inning with a ground ball to short. It was initially bobbled, and the throw is wide of first.
I think we can safely.
Can we, though? After
No,
that last half inning?
We can.
We can? You sure?
If that's not an error, I don't know what is. Maybe it was a hard hit ball, sure, but the throw was offline. Also.
Let's watch the replay and confirm. You can never be too sure, though. I'm putting Weigel on via E6.
I would say E6.
I mean, there's no question about it. He hit the ball hard, but that is
The
a
throw was
routine
offline
grounder.
regardless.
And the ball was bobbled as well.
Right.
I mean, that is a routine ground ball. We're not doing this. We're not having this discussion, Nick. That is an E6.
Let's just.
The question is, are you giving the error on the bobble of the throw?
I would say the throw.
I think he had him by a mile with a good throw. And I don't think he needed to rush as much as he thought. You can pause it when the ball is fielded, Nick. You might be able to see it on the closer shot. The shortstop may come into the frame.
Kind of does, but.
Let me see.
Actually, no, you can see it.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell where Weigel is when what actually you'd have to do, Nick. You need to figure out where you are in that replay and then go back to the wide shot. So you would pause it at a certain time once the ball is fielded on the close shot, and then you have to match it up on the wide shot and pause there. As Nick Campese sends one out to center. Catch is made there. Weigel retreats back to first, and there's one away.
Now batting the second baseman, number 1, Jaden Waterman.
Okay, so I have both that I think are at the right time.
I can't believe we're doing this right now. But we will.
I don't think we should. I think that's clear as day an error.
Well, I agree with you, but, keep my mouth shut. Let's see.
Oh, we'll wait after this next pitch.
Jaden Waterman, the batter, and he takes outside.
So you want me to pause it when he goes down for the glove?
I want you to pause it once the shortstop has secured the ball.
Right,
there was an initial bobble, and then he secures the ball. So you'd only know when he secures the ball on the wide shot.
He secures it right there.
So he secures it, timestamp on that replay about 8.7, because you're 2 seconds into the window, which begins at 6.7.
Okay.
So at 8.7, here you're at 6.4, so you'd have to go 2.3 in. So yeah, you can actually drag it. So go to 8.7. You'd click and drag here to 8.7, and then you can see where Weigel is, 8.7. That's where he is. When the ball is secured, he is out by a mile. As if there was any doubt.
I didn't think there was.
I didn't either. He's probably about, 60% of the way to first base?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would say about 60.
Yeah, if runners are beating out throws from shortstop with 40% of the way to go, that's problematic. For the shortstop, that is.
Right.
As Jaden Waterman takes ball 3. I almost called him Bryce. Had to stop myself.
We did speak to Bryce before we went on the air.
We did speak to Bryce before we came on the air. Might have to give him the hookup, though. Technically, I can't give him the hookup. I have to give him the ability to purchase Knicks playoff tickets. I can't give him any tickets. That would be a violation. We can't do that. Though my pre-sale is tomorrow morning, and the way that works, you're able to buy a fixed amount. Any leftovers can be purchased by anybody.
I think you and I are both in agreement that we are very thankful they ended that series this week.
Oh, yeah.
Game 7 would have been today, and it would have been very tough to watch that.
Yeah, I would have been out of here as soon as this game ended. So originally, Game 7 was scheduled for 1 p.m.
Well, right, I was going to say, it would have been a 1 o'clock game.
It would have been a 7 o'clock game. They moved it.
They did move it?
They did move it.
Oh,
so,
I thought there was a concert or something.
No, they moved it to 7 if necessary.
Okay.
Originally the game was scheduled for 1 o'clock. Obviously, that wouldn't have worked with our coverage here. So what would have happened is I would have led the pregame ceremony, and I would have been out of here right after.
Right. Culver thought he had strike 3, but Waterman gets the walk.
The error now looming a bit larger. 1 out. And runners on first and second for the Dolphins as they send it back to the top of the order with Michael Palermo. Well, Nick, obviously our audience that has tuned in throughout the season, they know you and I are both Knick fans. On a scale of 1 to 10, and now the Tigers dugout has been warned by the home plate umpire.
Didn't think we were going to see that today, but
Someone's ejected. Who's the admin?
we cannot.
The admin might be me. Oh, boy.
Oh, no. Anyway, going back to your point.
You and I, both Knicks fans. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence level that we are winning the series against Indiana? And what was your confidence level that we were winning the series against Philadelphia?
My confidence level against Philly. I thought first off, I knew the series against Philly was going 6 or 7. I knew regardless of any injuries with Embiid, it was going to go 6 or 7 games. With Indiana.
Did you, though?
Yeah.
With Embiid on one leg?
Yeah.
I would have said Knicks in 5.
Maxey is too good of a player. They have a decent enough bench to keep them in a lot of games. And you saw that in Game 6. Buddy Hield literally almost carried them to that win.
Their bench is wildly inconsistent.
I know.
Wildly inconsistent. As that
Speaking
one
about
skipped
wildly.
to the backstop. That pitch was very wild as Palermo watches it roll to the backstop and both runners will advance.
So for this series, I think this one also goes 6 or 7. I think,
Really?
Yeah, Indiana is not a bad team. They beat the Knicks 2 times this
They're a
season.
bad defense.
They're a bad defense,
And
but their
in the
offense.
playoffs, the game slows down.
I know.
They cannot play the way they want against the Knicks.
I
don't believe it.
The Knicks are. I have the Knicks winning in 6. I think first of all, they don't like to win at home in terms of ending the series. They've proven that already with that first series, and I think they get it done in 6 games. I'm more confident about this series though than the previous one, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you there.
Indiana is a good team, but
I told myself
they're still very young. They haven't had like much postseason experience just yet. To me, because Philadelphia, you knew had that experience last season. Indiana, this is their first time in the postseason in a while.
The reason I was not worried about Philadelphia is a reason that I think a lot of teams won't be overly worried about the Knicks, and the reason is depth.
Right.
The Knicks now with the injury to Bogdanovich are basically 70. They're not playing more than 7 guys. As Palermo lines a base hit into right field, 1 run will score. Here comes Waterman, and he is in to score as Michael Palermo drives in 2 with an RBI single, and the Dolphins are now in front 6-0.
And Palermo just got that one over the second baseman's head as they had the infield in for the Tigers, and Palermo brings home 2 to bring this now to a 6-0 lead for CSI here in the 4th inning.
Well, the Weigel run will be unearned. The Waterman run for now is going to be earned and will stay earned as Burkhead drops one into left field. That's down the line for an extra base hit. It
might be
rolls
a
into
run.
the Dolphins bullpen, and stopping at third is Palermo. Now, I'm curious to know if the umpires would have allowed him to go further, as that ball ended up in the CSI bullpen and got tangled up in the feet of some Dolphins there.
Would it be feet or fins?
Good point. Looks like we're about to have some guests up here in the press box, Nick.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Okay.
So that's a double for Burkhead down the line.
I think I know which guys you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they can indulge in the next conversation as well.
All right, so going back to my point, as we're going to have a pitching change, I think Stephanie said 45. She sure did. So we'll get that pitching change in before I continue, and we'll stay right here. New pitcher for Holy Family is number 45, and I believe Dennis's last name is on the pronunciation guide.
Shizolski.
Dennis Shizolski, the new pitcher for Holy Family University. The first batter he will face is A.J. Vigliotti. But, Nick, back to my point. I think the reason why I'm not worried, or I wasn't worried about Philadelphia, and a lot of teams might not be worried about the Knicks, is perceived depth. I think the Knicks give you 5 guys who are capable, or at least 4 guys who are capable of playing the entire game.
Right.
Anyone in that starting lineup outside of the center position is capable of potentially giving you 48 minutes. Now, do you want that? Absolutely not, but they're capable. Philadelphia, if you're telling me that the guys coming in off the bench are going to be Nicholas Batum, or they're calling him Nico Batum now, and Buddy Hield, who I don't think I saw make a shot until Game 6.
Buddy Hield was literally bench, I think, in Games 4 and 5.
Tobias Harris put up a goose egg in Game 6, too. They have too many guys who are, on any given night, capable of giving you nothing.
Right.
Nothing. And as defensive stoppers, it didn't work, putting them on Brunson. They couldn't give you that. They weren't giving you scoring. What are they giving you? They were getting dominated on the boards by the Knicks guards, so they weren't giving you rebounding.
I think
They gave you nothing.
I think the only concern I have was the issue that was the whole series, which was fouls.
Yeah,
And
and the
Embiid-
Knicks worked through it.
Right.
And the Knicks have 3 centers.
Right.
And the Dolphins are going to have a pinch runner here, it appears. The lead runner, Palermo, has come out of the game. And Chris Riley will run for him, so I'll make that change as well.
He'll be at third base. Burkhead, is still at second. As Holy Family keeps their infield in, Vigliotti will look to extend this Dolphin lead.
And I think when you have a situation like that, as Vigliotti will bat here at the infield end and 2 in scoring position, when you have a situation where a team has players that are consistently giving them nothing from game to game, whether it's one guy or all 3 in a given game, and Batum had a really nice game in Game 6 as well, but defensively, they just weren't getting it done. And a few corner threes, while not getting any defense, is not enough.
Right.
It's not enough. And they had a lot of guys who weren't giving them anything in that series.
I think especially how the way Game 5 ended, I think that was such a gut punch that I was like, okay, this is probably going to go 7 now because of they might not react like in a positive way the way this game ended. And you had Scott Foster as the ref, and we all know people call him the extender for a reason. He likes to extend playoff series. So that's why I thought it was going to go to 7. And then I was thankful enough that it did not go to 7 and they won.
I was thankful as well.
Yeah, and you were there in attendance to see it.
Vigliotti behind 1 and 2 here, and he fouls that one back. I think what's great about this Knicks team is that every game, every player that gets in for them gives you something.
Right.
They get something. It's very rare that you get nothing out of any of the players
Because
that the Knicks have out there.
you know Brunson's going to do what he's done all season. And it seems as if because going into Game 6, DiVincenzo had not been there the entire series for the Knicks.
Well,
And it had his best game by far.
DiVincenzo had done nothing at the offensive end
Except for
after Game 2.
Right. They kept benching him from McBride at the end of the games.
Yeah, and Deuce hit a big shot in Game 5.
He did.
I thought that was it when that shot went down as Vigliotti goes down swinging here.
I thought the Knicks were done when they were down 10, and then Devo hit that 3 to make it 71-64. So that gave me some kind of life, but I really thought for a good portion they were going to lose the game after having like a 22-point lead to start off.
And he tried another one, too, to make it a 4-point game on the next possession.
Yeah.
Chris Palomini, the batter now. He comes to the plate with 2 in scoring position and 2 outs.
Yeah, he might have a
and
home run.
Hits one a mile high, Nick, deep to left field. And that ball is gone. A 3-run homer off the bat of Chris Palomini has made it 9-0 Dolphins.
The Dolphins having a field day here, hitting that ball out to the soccer field in left field as Palomini, you knew right off the bat, Joe, just like the Martin home run, that one was a no-doubter. And the day that we've had here today as well, very special occasion for Palomini. He gets a home run to extend the CSI lead down to 9.
On the day where we honored his late father who passed away 1 year ago, Chris Palomini has homered. And he has given the Dolphins a 9-run lead here in the 4th inning. That will bring up Thomas Martin, who has already homered in this game.
No pressure on Martin, Joe, but needs 2 hits. He might have a chance at 2 at-bats.
He will get 2 at-bats unless the Dolphins go down very quickly each of the next 2 innings. Leading by 9, there's a good chance the Dolphins don't bat in the 7th, so they'll have the 5th and the 6th. If Martin gets a hit here and keeps this inning going, he gives himself a chance for hit number 33 on the year in his next at-bat.
Going back to the Knicks talk, I will be there Wednesday at MSG for Game 2.
You'll be there for Game 2?
I'll be there for Game 2.
I'll have to see if the seat next to you is available. Let's take a look now.
Maybe.
As Martin hits one a mile high, I still need a ticket.
Towards the Dolphin dugout. Nice catch from Bucci on that play.
Bucci tracks it down just alongside the on-deck circle. Martin is retired, as are the Dolphins here in the 4th. But the Dolphins strike for 5 runs, 3 coming on a 3-run shot by Chris Palomini. It's now 9-0 Staten Island.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experience as possible.
And we are back for the fifth inning from the CSI Baseball Complex.
You know why I'm laughing? Lou had to quickly announce that Comer after the bat.
You can't squeeze it in when the pitcher comes set. You got to wait.
I appreciate the effort to at least try to speed it up the pace and make sure the batter was announced.
They're enjoying a meal from our sponsor McDonald's next door, so I'm sure he's chowing down. Had a mouthful, and you can't try and do PA with a mouthful. Count 1-1 strike on Brian Comer. He's without an official at-bat through 2 plate appearances. He's walked twice. And we mentioned it during the previous half inning. Michael Palermo came out for a pinch runner, Chris Riley. Riley stays in the game.
Well, he's in right field.
Comes the 1-1. That's high for ball 2.
Now, Joe, do pitchers have to go 5 innings as well to be qualified for the win in a 7-inning game?
I don't know.
I never have figured that out.
That is a good question, as that's fouled away and too far for Weigel.
Because I didn't know if it was maybe 4 innings you had to pitch to get the qualified win or if it was 5. But
in my opinion, doesn't really mean much, but if I'm scoring a game that is a 7-inning game, I would give the win to a pitcher who goes at least 4. The game is about 20% shorter, about. A little bit more than that. So if you go 20% less in the game, I think that's deserving of a win. Because the games are managed a bit differently sometimes.
the pollen's getting to you again, Joe.
Yep. Though at least I can see and speak clearly today.
Yeah.
It's been a tumultuous season for me. The allergens haven't gotten me that much, but
tumultuous. Yeah.
I've been out of a voice now for at least, I'd say, 2 or 3 different games. One of them I attempted to call. That was done. I was fading in game 1 of the doubleheader. I think it was against Lincoln.
Yeah, it was.
Though the doubleheader against Lincoln, I think I only called game 2, as that's in.
Yes, we had a double.
So
I think we had.
Who was it instead?
I was on the call for the base. I remember for both of them at least. I don't know if you were on. You might have been on for the second game. I think we had softball that day as well.
Comer goes down looking, and Gino Serecchia will be the batter. I'm trying to think back. I think it was the Queens doubleheader. So Queens, we played at home in the middle.
Yes.
We played Queens at home. Actually, no, we played Queens Friday, Sunday at home. We were on the road Saturday. One of the doubleheaders, they split, or I should say, one of the 4-game series, they split to 2 doubleheaders. Could it have been Stack?
Maybe.
Yeah. No, we didn't call Stack. We were at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Usually I have such good memory for these things. I feel like it had to be the Lincoln games, but there's no way I got on for the end of game 1.
You were on for game 2.
Yeah.
You saw the Thomas Martin home run. Because I remember, like I said, I listened back
I feel
to the
like I
call.
called the Martin home run
You
with a
did.
weak voice. Did I?
You weren't on a weak voice. It was more because you joined me mid-game,
Yeah.
and your voice sounded fine in that one. I think it was a different doubleheader than that your voice started to go out after game 1 especially.
Not sure.
And that's going to go right to second base. So
Count is full, 3-2. At the plate in this game, Serecchio 0 for 2.
I think regardless of how this inning goes, this will be Santos' last inning of work here today.
That's popped up. Fair territory along the first baseline and caught in foul territory. 2 away. That officially will go down as an FF3 in Stat Crew, and Zach Morales will be the batter.
We see the Dolphins offense this week, Joe, as well. Has put out some great numbers to end their season. And they'll look going into next season, hopefully, to have the same offensive production.
I certainly hope so. I think for the Dolphins, a lot of their issues came in the one big inning. So whether that inning came late in the game or in the first inning, as we saw more than once from starters, that one big inning derailed so many different games. And I think as we've talked about in the past, that one big inning typically came somewhere in the final 9 outs.
Right.
But this year, we saw a lot of early inning struggles from starters who were then very strong after that. It's very unusual to see such fluctuations in the performance of a pitcher from start to start, especially when it comes to struggles existing almost exclusively in the first inning. Here, Santos issues a walk to Morales, and the inning continues with 2 outs. Dylan Mercedes will be the batter.
Trying to think if there's any games going on in the 5 o'clock window, or actually, no, we won't be out of here by 5 o'clock. We have to a lot of
Basketball?
cleanup. I'm trying to think if there's any hockey or basketball around like 6:30, 7
I think
o'clock.
the basketball.
I know Game 7 of the Bruins and Maple Leafs tonight.
I think
I know that's
basketball,
at
the
least.
Game 7s are tomorrow, both of them. I think the rest of the series are done.
Nuggets and Timberwolves is tonight, I think.
Oh, Game 1?
They started Game 1 tonight.
Well, that should be a great game.
Yeah.
Hopefully they beat each other up, because if the Knicks are going to make the NBA Finals and face one of those teams, it's better they do so after a couple of physical series leading up to the Finals. I think for the Knicks, anything short of an appearance in the conference finals is a massive disappointment, in my opinion.
If they get eliminated by Indiana, it would definitely be disappointing.
Yeah. I think I felt the same way when they faced the Pacers in 2013.
Yep.
And I was disappointed.
I said someone try to find Roy Hibbert to make sure he's not playing in this series.
That's a very good point.
Because Roy Hibbert destroyed the Knicks that
Oh,
series.
he sure
and
did.
It still pains me.
I remember attending Game 1 of that series back in 2013 and leaving the Garden dumbfounded that we just lost to Indiana.
Yeah.
And that was before Paul George was the superstar he became, as that's hit well out to right center field. That ball heading toward the gap, but Riley gets there on the run and makes the backhanded catch for the 3rd out. The Tigers are set down in the 5th. They are still scoreless, and the Dolphins lead it by 9. Our score, Staten Island 9 and Holy Family nothing as the rain begins to fall.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Back for the home fifth here at the CSI Baseball Complex. 9-0 lead for the Dolphins. Anthony Sotero will lead it off for CSI here in the bottom of the fifth. He'll be facing a new pitcher as well as he goes, hits that one up the middle and through for a base hit. Past the diving second baseman on that one. Sotero is on with a leadoff single here in the bottom of the fifth inning, as the Dolphins will try to extend their lead here.
Now batting the third baseman, number 9, Vincent Weigel.
That'll bring up Vincent Weigel now. Now, if you're wondering where my broadcast partner Joe Foreman is, with the rain now coming down here at the baseball complex, our sound system that was on the field for today's ceremonies has now to be taken apart. So, trying to avoid any rain from getting involved with that as Weigel hits it into right field, but shallow enough for the catch to be made out in right field for the first out of the inning.
Now batting the catcher, number 5, Nick Campisi.
Nick Campisi now the batter for CSI. Campisi already has himself an RBI in the day, got the first run of the game for CSI. So missed low and inside for a ball 1-0. Nathan Kuta, the pitcher here for Holy Family. He now comes on in relief. He gets that strike on the outside corner to even the count at 1. Check the runner at first, but Sotero back in safely. With this inning as well, there's been some defensive substitutions as well for the Tigers. As Campisi hits this one down the right field line, and that will go out of play. Takes a one bounce into the bleachers. The count goes now to 1-2. Jaden Waterman on deck for the Dolphins. The Dolphins look to end their season on a high note with the win here today. A 9-0 lead here in the bottom of the fifth. Campisi hits this one into right field, and that will drop in for a base hit. Campisi goes opposite field hitting with the bloop single into right. His second hit of the game, and the Dolphins now have first and second with one out here in the fifth. As that out goes down, the Dolphins' 9th hit of this game. I'll bring out Jaden Waterman. That the Waterman will go back to the top of the line for the Dolphins for Christopher Riley getting his first at bat of the game. As Waterman takes out low for a ball, 1-0 the count. That one on the inside for a ball now, count 2-0. Waterman so far today 0 for 1 has walked and has scored in a run. Is in the driver's seat early on in this count here with a 2-0. Here comes the 2-0 from Kuta. It's on the outside for a strike now, 2-1. Waterman still ahead of the count here, 2-1 the count. And it misses on the outside for ball 3. So Kuta now in danger of loading the bases for the Dolphins. 3-1 with the Dolphins top of the lineup coming up on deck. It's Waterman trying to work his second walk of this game. Here comes the 3-1. And that makes it strike 2. Now makes the count full. So now a full count for Waterman, 3-2. Kuta looking for a strikeout here. Get the second out of the inning. Takes a look at second. Here comes the 3-2. And that one swung on a miss for strike 3. As Waterman got out in front on that one. A big strikeout for Kuta there to get the second out of the inning.
25, Christopher Riley.
And that'll bring up Christopher Riley now with 2 away. Riley came in as a pinch runner earlier in the game for Michael Palermo. A nice play in right field to retire the top half of the 5th inning, and now comes up with first and second, 2 outs here. And he takes a first pitch strike 0-1. Comes the 0-1. That one in there for a strike now, and quickly Riley's behind the count 0-2. So Kuta now is a strike away from getting back-to-back punch-outs. And again, the Tigers out of this bottom of the 5th at 0-2. And it just misses on the outside for a ball, 1-2 now the count. Dolphins most likely will go to a new pitcher in the top of the 6th. You tend to think that would be Gerard Santos' last inning in the top half of the 5th inning. The 1-2 from Kuta. That one's hit into right center field. This could be trouble. It drops in for a base hit. Sotero will score with ease. Campisi will go from first to third on the RBI single from Christopher Riley. The Dolphins' 10th hit of the game brings home the 10th run of the game as well. They now lead this one 10-0. So Riley makes the most of his first at bat in this one, bringing home the 10th run for CSI with that RBI single now. And it gives Brian Burkhead now first and third, still 2 outs of the inning. As we'll have a lefty-lefty matchup now with Kuta and Burkhead. And that one misses on the outside for a ball, 1-0 the count. So once again, the Dolphins doing a lot more damage with 2 outs in the inning. Burkhead will look to extend it right here. And he hits this one high in the infield. Martinez will call everyone off and make the play to retire the side. Dolphins do get a run in the inning on the RBI hit from Riley. They now head into the top of the 6th inning with a 10-0 lead. And we're back for the top of the 6th inning here at the CSI Baseball Complex. And now 10-0 lead for the Dolphins here in this one. And they'll have a new pitcher coming on in relief. Michael First comes out in relief for the Dolphins. And we saw him this past Tuesday get his first start of the year against Adelphi. 5 shutout innings in that game. And he got his first win of the season in that one. He'll face a pinch hitter to start off the top half of the 6th inning. It's Caden Manis is the batter here for Holy Family. Tend to see a slew of subs coming in these next couple of innings. These next couple of batters, I should say, coming up for Holy Family. They had a couple of defensive substitutions in the previous half inning. They will get their first at bats here in the bottom half, the top 6th. His first pitch misses on the outside. Goes behind the backstop for a ball, 1-0 the count. Mass with a big swing and a miss right there. The count evens at 1. Here comes the 1-1. And it misses on the outside for a ball. Now 2-1 to count. The 2-1. And it misses on the outside for ball 3. 3-1 now the count for First. Dolphins 10 runs on 10 hits. As well as 3 errors for the Tigers in this game. As Mass hits this one into left center. But Burkhead will call off Palomini. He'll make the play, and there's now one away. So First gets the fly out to start off the 6th inning here. AJ Dykes now is the batter here. He was one of those substitutions that came on the previous half inning. Gets his first at bat right here. He takes a big swing and a miss for a strike, 0-1 the count. Another pinch hitter on deck as well for Holy Family. Here's the 0-1 from First. The count now quickly goes to 0-2. Mass retired to start the inning. Now Dykes is the batter here. Quickly behind the count, 0-2. Half swing on the outside. The Dolphins thought they had strike 3 right there, but just misses for a ball now, 1-2. Count now 1-2 here for First. And down goes Dykes on a swing and a miss on the outside corner for strike 3. So 2 quick outs here for First here in the 6th inning. They'll face Aiden Creen now, who comes on for his first at bat of the game here with 2 outs in the 6th. First pitch to Creen. This is low for a ball, 1-0 the count. Comes the 1-0. That one chopped to short. Going to be a tough play for Satara. His throw is off the line and toward the dugout. We'll see what they score that one. I think regardless of where the throw was, I think he would have reached first base easily on an infield single. That was a tough play at short for Satara there. We'll get a second look at the replay just a moment after this first pitch. But I am of the notion, we know we've already had a controversial hit error spot already in this game, but I'm of the notion that is certainly going to be an infield single for Creen. Even if Satara is able to field that ball and make it the throw on the line, Creen is easily into first base. As First will check the runner at first. He's back in safely. Isaac Chris is the batter here for the Tigers. He's got an early 1-0 count. That one in there for a strike, now 1-1. 1-1. Hit right back to the glove of First. Heads up play right there from Michael First to retire the side here at the top of the 6th inning. As the Tigers will strand that runner at first base. We'll get a second look closely before we head into commercial break. Seen it so far a couple times in this game where the Dolphins have had a ball hit up the middle, go off the Dolphins' glove pitcher. But how about Michael First with the reaction right there on that line drive, retiring Chris to get the final out of the 6th. And we now head to the home half of the 6th inning. CSI leads this one, 10-0. Back for the home half of the 6th inning here at CSI as A.J. Vigliotti goes first pitch swinging into left field. So that one will be caught out in left field for the first out of the inning. So 1 pitch, 1 out to retire Vigliotti. Brings up Chris Palomini. Palomini with that towering home run into left field his last time up. And that comes up a 1 away here in the 6th. And he'll face obviously the new pitcher. I forgot to mention that before the Vigliotti at bat. And Palomini hits that one into left center field. And a great catch in left field from Comer retires Palomini for the second out. Had to get that one a long run. And initially thought he had the play with ease, but it almost went over his head. Had to jump up to grab that ball to get the second out. And it brings up Thomas Mara now with two away. As well, undoubtedly looks to be Martin's last at bat as a Dolphin here. He's already delivered a home run in this game. He took that first pitch high and inside for a ball 1-0. I think, Joe, you got on the camera, Joe? Oh, I didn't see. That one scorched down the left field line, but it's foul. We're looking for another extra base hit here today. This count now goes to 1-1. One the count. Misses high for a ball now, 2-1. Looking to deliver one more big hit here to end his Dolphin tenure here. As the 2-1 misses low in the dirt for ball 3. And if Martin were able to work a walk, you tend to think that the Dolphins most likely will pinch run for him. Now misses inside for ball 4. Martin works the walk. Curious to see maybe if they get a pinch runner here to give him a final send-off. Anthony Sotero now is the batter. Martin will stay in the game. Sotero takes that first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Count now is 1-1 for Sotero here. Comes the 1-1. And misses low for ball 2. That one hit down the left field line. Is it playable enough for Comer and left? Foul ball. So now the count goes to 2-2 here. 2 away in the inning. Interesting enough, if Sotero could get on, and he will get on. That one's over the head of the second baseman and through for a base hit. Martin's rounding first. He'll head to third. Sotero's in standing with a base hit. And look at the situation we have now going on here. Matthew Palomini will get an at-bat here with 2 outs for the Dolphins. So Palomini will get an at-bat with 2 outs in the inning. And I'll have to see if this is his first at-bat of the year. And I think it is. This is going to be Matthew Palomini's first at-bat of the season. And he'll have first and third with 2 outs. How fitting would it be if he can get a base hit right here to bring home a run? He might have got a home run! This one's in the left field! This one is gone! Talk about a pinch hit home run. Matthew Palomini with a towering home run to left. Not only does Chris get one, Matthew gets one as well. The Palominis get 2 homers in this game. It's a 13-0 lead for the Dolphins. Unbelievable what we just witnessed here. Matthew Palomini's first at-bat of the season, and he gets a home run to give the Dolphins now a 13-0 lead. Another one of those where right off the bat, you knew it was going to be a home run. And you can see on your screen, folks, look at how pumped the Dolphins dugout was as soon as they saw that ball get hit into left field. They knew as well that was going to go over the wall. Nick Campese now the batter for the Dolphins here. As what a moment we just had with that home run from Palomini. As that's in there for a strike now, 1-1. It might be the first time as well we've seen a pair of brothers hit a home run in the same game. As Campese went around on that pitch to make it 1-2. Especially with the occasion today, they're honoring their late father. What a moment for both Chris and Matthew. As that one misses for a ball, 2-2 now the count. See, maybe if Matthew plays at the field as well, or maybe tries to pitch in in the last inning, as Campisi's down on strikes for the final out of the sixth. But not before the Dolphins get 3 more runs. The big blow. Matthew Palomini's first at bat of the season. A 3-run homer into left field. Makes the most of his pinch hit at bat and goes 1 for 1 on the year with that home run, extending the Dolphin lead now to 13-0 as we head to the top of the 7th inning.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela burns it.
An incredible finish by Hall. The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
We are back for the top of the 7th inning here at CSI. A 13-0 lead for the Dolphins. Matthew Palomini gets a home run here on Heroes Day. He and Chris getting a home run as well in this one. Both with towering fly balls into left field. No doubters. And giving now CSI this 13-0 lead here in the top 7. Alex Martinez is going to come on in relief for the Dolphins here to try to finish this one out. Get the Dolphins a nice win to end their regular season. We also have Owen Weber coming in at third base. Chris Barding now is at first, so a couple of substitutions for the Dolphins. And Martinez will look to finish off this one for CSI as well. Spot 2 where even if it's not a hit or error in that spot we had earlier in the game, still 2 to 3 hits for the Tigers in this game. It's been a well-pitched game from CSI overall. 5 shutout innings from Gerard Santos. Michael First got out of the 6th inning. And now Martinez will look to get it done here in the 7th. Give CSI the win to end their regular season as well. John Martinez, the batter here for the Tigers, was responsible for tying Game 1. This 2-run homer in the 6th inning. So misses high inside for a ball, 2-0 the count. It'll be 9-1-2 up in the inning here for the Tigers. They'll have some pinch hitters coming up on deck. Here comes the 2-0 from Martinez. Now it misses for ball 3. Goes a 3-0. They gave Martinez the green light. He hits that one foul. Now 3-1 count here for Martinez. Dolphins with 13 runs on 12 hits and the 1 error. Martinez now, after having a 3-0 count, now has a full count at 3-2. And the rare Martinez versus Martinez matchup. We saw this one earlier on in the year. Alex Martinez got the favorable of the two. Here comes the 3-2 from Alex. And that one misses low for ball 4. So John wins the battle this time around. He gets the walk to lead off the 7th. And Alex Morales will come on for his first at-bat of this game. So Martinez now at first. Here comes Morales now, as I mentioned, for his first at-bat. And half swing is in there for a strike, 0-1 the count. Deal 1. Misses for a ball. Martinez is in the second base standing with the stolen base. The Dolphins were not going to throw down regardless. Count now goes to 1-1. You're back, Joe. Welcome back.
Couldn't miss the final out of the season, though unfortunately I missed one of the season's best moments as Matt Palomini, in his first at-bat of the season, came in as a pinch hitter and delivered a 3-run homer. As you mentioned, Nick, both Palomini brothers hitting home runs on this day where we honor our 4 hometown heroes, including their father, Paul Palomini. And that's great to see. The team was fired up coming out of the dugout. They stormed the field and really allowed Matt a chance to enjoy that moment. Unfortunately, it didn't come in Game 1 when the weather was nice and clear. The rain drove me from the press box down to the area near the dugout. I had to break down the sound system. It was getting completely pummeled by rainfall. But fortunately, the rain has subsided. We've dried off the equipment. And the Dolphins hope to close out a big win here on Heroes Day with Alex Martinez on the mound. And he misses down and in there for ball 2. Series of pinch hitters set to come to the plate here for Holy Family. Alex Morales at the plate right now. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and he swings and misses for strike 3. So Martinez has the first out here in the 7th.
Nice start to the at-bat for Martinez, getting that strikeout for that first out. I believe Noel Olivaria, who I believe subbed in the last inning as a defensive sub, if I'm not mistaken. This is his first at-bat regardless.
Yes, and, you know, Nick, I was looking down the lineup card when I was trying to make some changes, and with all the changes that were made and them not being announced up here, we were really set back in terms of the scoring, and trying to do play-by-play and stats isn't fun.
We've mentioned that a couple of occasions.
It's a matter of what level of cooperation are you getting from the dugouts. They have walkie-talkies down there, and as long as we use them and communicate, it's nice and easy.
Right.
If not, we have the binoculars here, and fortunately we have a good vantage point from right behind home plate. We're not that far. What would you say? We're about 50 feet from home plate?
Give or take, yeah.
A little more?
Yeah.
Probably a little more.
A little bit.
Either way, we're very close. And we could always go down, but you never want to do that, and I've never had to do that in all my years running the stats desk and the broadcast. So with 1 out in the 7th inning of our final broadcast, I'll once again deliver all the thank yous, first and foremost, to our audience back at home. They've offered us their kind words all season long, letting us know that they appreciate our coverage each and every Dolphins home game. But we'll start with the Sportsnet crew that, of course, makes these broadcasts possible. Aaron Cohen was my color commentary partner during the soccer season. Obviously, Tyler Clark then joined us during basketball. He was our broadcasting intern, engineered many of our games throughout his internship.
Public address as well for some of the baseball games.
That's right. We'll get to those guys. We'll get to those guys. We'll get to those guys. But Tyler, our broadcasting intern this year, as Zach Morales gets ahead 1-0, but he came on as a paid staff member following his internship. He's done a great job for us all season long. As you mentioned, Nick did some PA work for us here at baseball and softball. Also, Nick Durst, of course, our lead color commentator for basketball, covered many of the home games. Of course, Nick, you yourself covered many of those home games as well, and have done a great job as our lead color commentator for baseball and softball. You've done play-by-play on quite a few games now, with games being scheduled both at baseball and softball at the same time. Also on Sportsnet, Andrew Rotundo, offering his voice most recently during basketball season, but Andrew now with the United States Postal Service can't help us out as much anymore.
Question is, will we see him Thursday?
Unlikely.
Unlikely.
Well,
right?
the game is an afternoon game. If we went out to eat after, I'm sure he'd join us.
Well, again, we also have to, pay attention to the weather that day.
I will say, in the future, and this is looking ahead a bit, as the walk was issued to Morales and the bases are now loaded. Just checking, we didn't have a pinch hitter. I have Dylan Mercedes at the
Still
plate.
Dylan Mercedes.
Good. But looking ahead, with my move to New Jersey, if Andrew ever wanted to work games in the future, rather than driving all the way to CSI, he could drive to me. Though
Yeah.
I think he's in a different part of Jersey. I think it would still be a hike for him. He's in Tom's River. I'm in Matawan. Baseball and softball season by far our busiest time of the year in terms of frequency of games. As it looks like one of the seniors for the Tigers is going to be subbed out here, and that will be Zach Morales over at first base. So Morales will come out of the game, and he receives a round of applause from his teammates as he heads back to the dugout.
Stefan Leo will be the one replacing him at first base. The show will go to attend to that, make sure that they have that. Comes the 0-1. Slow for a ball, 1-1 now the count. Being joined now by Joe.
Tried to pass over the info to public address, letting them know that Morales was exiting for the final time so that they could announce something for him. As that's got out to right by Mercedes, and the catch is made in right field. Riley will throw to second, and the first Tigers run will come home as Martinez scores.
Holy Family avoiding the 0 on the board with that sacrifice fly.
Just putting that in to our stats program here. All right, we got it.
Now, Joe, they just announced where WrestleMania is going to be next year.
And?
It's going to be in Las Vegas.
That's not a surprise and not a location that I'm willing to travel to for WrestleMania. You would... I can't even think of anything that you could do that would make me consider traveling to Vegas.
I might go, but I'm not
Really?
sure yet. I think it's one of those, like, people always say you need to experience going to Las Vegas once, and then that's it. Well, maybe not everyone, but at least at least go there once in your lifetime, and then say that you've been there.
Yeah, I'm good. All right. This could be the final strike of the Dolphins season. We have a lot of thank yous left.
I know. Very extensive post-game show, if that means the case.
At the plate, Caden Manis. And Manis takes up and away. So we thanked Aaron, Nick, Tyler, Andrew, of course, Louis Matrone, our lead statistician, offering his input on Sportsnet from time to time throughout the season.
Public address as well for him.
Has helped us engineer some broadcasts, has done some work on public address. I think that covers all the voices outside of John Venezia, as that is swung on and missed for strike 3. And the Dolphins end the season with a win as Manis goes down swinging, and CSI wins it 13-1. So John Venezia obviously joining us late in the season, offering his voice for CSI Baseball all season long. Our camera operator at basketball, Pat Gilorenzo. He's in the room with us right now.
You might have heard him.
You might have heard him.
He's getting ready for the next
Our
this week.
Statistician, shot clock operator, and scoreboard operator, Stephanie Smallridge, did not miss one game all season. I missed quite a few. Stephanie did not miss one. The Iron Woman of the crew has not missed any games with us all season long. We thank her for all of her help on stats and with issues on the broadcast and in clocks. She does it all. And Nick, we have Pat Fleming leaving the room as well, another one of our scoreboard operators. Made the trip down to Florida with me, offered quite a bit of free help, so I certainly appreciate that. I think he definitely gets a Sportsnet credit for his extra work down in Florida this year. And I think in terms of the crew that covered baseball and softball, that covers just about everybody. We had Emily Albano offer her voice on PA as well. We appreciate that. But in terms of Sportsnet, I think we got everybody. If I forgot somebody, I'm sure I'll hear about it later. But I think we included everybody in the post-game wrap-up. And once again, most of all, thanks to everyone who watches at home. We do the broadcast not only for our student-athletes, but for all of their families and friends watching back at home. We know that there are quite a few moments today and throughout the season that our viewers will go back and rewind. Our most recent, of course, the Matt Palomini home run.
Yeah, that's one where, as I mentioned, his first at-bat of the season, and he went first pitch swinging too, Joe. He did not wait to get that swing in, and how memorable to get that one over the left field wall. Basically, the same exact at-bat that we saw Chris have earlier on in this game. And as you mentioned, what a way to honor their father here today with both of them going yard. I mentioned it might be the first time you and I have both seen a pair of brothers hit a home run in the same game. So great job by the Palominis here today, getting those home runs, giving CSI a nice end to their season here in 2024 with a 13-1 win.
Trying to recall how many pairs of brothers we've had. Obviously, the Castigliones.
Yeah,
the Watermans are two separate sports.
The Keoghs would never.
The Keoghs do not both hit.
Right, Ryan doesn't hit.
So
maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Plenty to look forward to in 2025 for Nick and I, and plenty to be excited about in the realm of CSI athletics. Of course, if it's a home game, we'll have it for you right here on CSI Sportsnet. So for my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona, my name is Joe Foreman, and from all of us here at the College of Staten Island, thank you for watching all season long. Our final score here in Game 2 on Hometown Heroes Day, the Dolphins 13 and the Tigers of Holy Family University 1.
And don't forget, Thursday, we'll be recording that Dolphin pod at the softball field. So hopefully we get the win again, but we'll see what happens.
We certainly hope so. Before that, we have the Finnies on Tuesday night.
We do.
The event script is almost complete. We are pending our department award winners. That is being voted on this weekend. Those votes will be tallied tomorrow night, and we will have our department award winners scripted in following the tally of those votes. And once that's done, all there is to do is to tune in on Tuesday night. We hope to live stream from the Staten. Of course, that's located here on Staten Island. Nick, that's pretty close to you.
It is very close to my house.
That is very close to you. So
Staten's a great establishment. I can vouch for it.
I might have to make sure, I might have to see if we can get you in as the stream operator. If we can get you in as the stream operator, pay you for a couple of hours, you come in and enjoy the show. You'll have to work the stream, but at the very least, you'll get to come in and you'll get to hear all the thank yous I issue. I'll probably have to repeat everything I just said again at the end of the ceremony on Tuesday night. But until Tuesday, once again, this has been Joe Foreman for Nick Bavona of all of us here at the College of Staten Island. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next year here on Sportsnet. Dolphins end their season with a 13-1 win.